welcome to Friday evening. Friday evening here. I thought I'd have a beer and just tell you a few things that are going on and say hello. It's Friday after all. Look, McEwen's Champion, the beer of champions, Scottish beer. It's a mere 7.3% alcohol. It's very almost like a light beer. Right, so anyway, here in my lovely Wadworth's brewery glass. Wadworth's is a brewery very near me in Devizes. And it has a lovely brewery tour that you can do. And look at that. Look at that. Wadworth Golden Ale. This isn't Wadworth Golden Ale. As I said before anybody was on, is McEwen's Champion. But anyway, cheers to all and sundry and anybody watching, and happy Friday. I hope you got through the week safely and well, and that life is treating you as well as possible. Oh, that's good. That's a strong beer, but it's good. Anyway, so how are you doing? Anybody, if you're on the live thing and you want to say hello or ask me a question or anything, then feel free to do so. I can see your messages. And Simon Russell said, thanks for the great reads. And hello, Simon. Thanks for tuning in. So it's been a weird week, been a bit of a frustrating week in terms of getting writing done. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, getting writing done has been a bit slow. I'm a few thousand words behind where I wanted to be at this stage, partly because it's been a difficult bit of the book to write, and my lack of preparation is kind of coming home to roost, but also because there's been other distractions this week. Things have happened and I've had other meetings and different stuff going on. So I'm a few thousand words behind, but still generally on schedule to finish this first draft that I'm working on by mid-February, I guess. Maybe sooner if I'm lucky. If I really pull my finger out next week, you never know. Anyway, I sent out my newsletter yesterday to tell everybody that A Night of Flames, which is the sequel to A Time for Swords, comes out on the 8th of March in ebook and hardback, and it will also be available in audio sometime soon thereafter. It's a little bit late because of time conflicts with Barnaby Edwards, who's doing the narration, but it should be out sometime in March, hopefully. But on my website, matthewharvey.com, if you want to get a signed hardback, you can go on there and pre-order one now. It won't be available yet, but I won't have the stock yet because I haven't actually seen the book yet. But it will come to me probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully before the publication date anyway, and I'll sign them and get them out as soon as I can. So yeah, if you'd like to pre-order a hardback from me directly, that's great. Also, I'm going to be signing some hardbacks actually in Goldsboro Books in London, and they do mail order as well. And there might be some other sites that have signed books as well. So wherever you want. And if you don't want the hardback, get the ebook or just order the hardback directly from Amazon if you want to go that way, or any other independent bookshop where you want to go. Jeff says out on his birthday. Good. Happy birthday in March. It's my birthday in March as well, but a little bit later. All right. Okay. And thank you, Jonathan. Saying, enjoy my pint. I will do my best. It's very nice, actually. I'll have another sip. You reminded me. Thank you. So yeah. So I haven't got the book to show you because it's not out yet. So I haven't seen it, but it's in the works and it will get there. And when it comes out, I will do another live thing and show you how beautiful it is, because I'm sure it will be pretty. Obviously, we've seen the artwork, but I haven't actually seen the book. I thought, while I've got you here and you've taken the time to drop in and say hello, I'd also just tell you a little bit about other things that I've been doing reading, watching. I seem to spend a lot of time watching TV. I don't think I'm unusual in that regard, as we've all been sort of stuck indoors more and more, both over winter but also over lockdowns and the whole pandemic. Feels like I've watched more TV than ever before in my entire life. But anyway, now nothing's changed, and I'm still watching a lot of TV. I think after spending the whole day writing and thinking about writing as well, it becomes more difficult to read. So I'm finding reading more difficult. Hopefully, you're not all reading during the day at work and then struggle to read at night. So hopefully, you're still doing some reading, or else I'll be out of a job pretty soon. But it's a bit of a. I think it's a bit of. Yeah, I think I'm not alone in other writers that find the same thing, that they write all day. It's a bit of a busman's holiday to then sort of leave and read a book, although I do still read, but often find myself just vegging in front of the TV. Maybe that's just sign of the times, I don't know. Anyway, so I thought I'd tell you about some things I've seen recently that you might enjoy, or that you might not. Maybe I'll give you some recommendations and otherwise. Saw an interesting film on Apple Plus TV. So if you've got Apple Plus TV, I know now that there's so many channels that if you haven't got all the channels, it becomes difficult to keep up as well. And these things might appear later on in other streamers. But anyway, on Apple Plus TV, I saw Coda, which is a film that apparently won the audience award or something at Sundance Festival, I'm guessing last year. And it's good. It's good. It's really good. It's about a teenage girl in some village somewhere in the States, fishing village, whose whole family are deaf. Her brother and her two parents are all deaf, and she's the only hearing person in the family. And it's about her, the sort of the struggles of going through school and hitting that sort of age of the late teens when she's thinking about college and leaving the nest, and all of that struggle and how she deals with it. And it's really well done. It's really interesting. I mean, the kind of the premise of the thing to make it more exciting is the fact that she's a great singer and she joins the choir and all of that. So you've got the whole juxtaposition of the parents and brother being deaf and her being a singer. But yeah, nice, good, wholesome family drama kind of thing. So that's Coda. That was good. Just finished yesterday watching Afterlife 3, the Ricky Gervais series on Netflix. Really liked Ricky Gervais's the first series, Afterlife. The first season I thought was really good. Second one I felt was a bit weaker. This third one I thought was absolute rubbish, absolutely terrible, to be honest. It felt like he was just cashing in on the same characters and trying to sort of regenerate what he'd already done, which is a pity because there were still moments that were good. And if you've seen the other two, you might want to. It's only 6 episodes, half an hour each, but in comparison to the sort of brilliance of that first series, it really was weak in comparison. It's all. I mean, if you don't know what it's about a grieving man, grieving the death of his wife and how he deals with it. And often it's hilarious, but often it's not. It just felt very maudlin, this third one, and didn't sort of get the right balance, and it felt just rushed and weird. So before I go on to tell you about another couple of things that I've watched, got this question here. Boom! Look at that. Jonathan has asked, any decent Northumbrian Anglo-Saxon history books you can recommend? Well, strange you should say that. Let me have a look on my bookshelf over here. How's this? Look at this. Okay. The Kingdom of Northumbria, if you can read that. AD 350 to 1100. And that's by N.J. Hyam, who's an authority on Anglo-Saxon period. That's a good book. And I've got another one somewhere over here, somewhere in my other pile of books. Sorry for disappearing around here. This one, if you haven't read it, specifically about Northumbria as well. The King in the North, Max Adams. It says here, The Life and Times of Oswald of Northumbria. That's kind of ostensibly what it's about, but really it covers the whole sort of 7th century, and that's very good. And as you can see, I've got bookmarks in here. That's been used quite a lot as a source for my books. Those are the two specifically about Northumbria. So yeah, hopefully that's of some use. I'm trying to think if there's any others that are specifically about Northumberland or Northumbria. Those are the two that come to mind. Yeah, those are the ones that I can think of. So back to other TV series and things that I've been watching. The Book of Boba Fett, Disney Plus. So anyone who knows me will know that I'm a massive, absolutely massive Star Wars fan. And it becomes increasingly difficult to remain a Star Wars fan as the years go by. And since Disney have bought the Star Wars franchise, they're doing their best to make it difficult, I think. But last year, maybe the year before now, they brought out The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and for the first time in a while, it felt like, they're doing something new, they're doing something original, introducing new characters. This is great. I'm a massive fan of westerns. It's all very, westerns and samurais, two things that I love. Really going back to the sort of original style of Star Wars, which was obviously really influenced by Akira Kurosawa, and it's the samurai movies that he did. And so, this felt really, wow, this is great. I loved it. Then season 2 of The Mandalorian came out, and it wasn't quite as good, but it was still okay. But then they started doing the thing they do, which is bringing in the same characters that are in all of the saga. So you get, I don't want to give any spoilers, but characters that have appeared in other films and things begin to crop up in it, and you think, oh, come on, create new characters and do something new. You've got this whole universe, and you have to keep on rehashing the Skywalker stuff. Come on, it's boring now. So it was all right. It was good, but not as good. Then they brought out, Tracy is saying it's all about this, learning about the Sand People. But again, it's now in the Boba Fett thing. So I'm going to get onto the Boba Fett. So the Book of Boba Fett. So Boba Fett with the Mandalorian armor that became so iconic from the movies that hardly speaks any lines of dialogue in the movies, and it became an iconic, interesting figure. Suddenly he's just boring. They've created this whole story that didn't need to be told. He's gone from being a bad guy. I mean, he was a real bad guy. He was a bounty hunter that catches Han Solo and freezes him in carbonite. They've gone from him being a baddie to being some sort of mushy, middle of the road good guy. I don't know what he's supposed to be. There's no story. I don't know. It's awful. I hate it. So I'm really struggling with it, to be perfectly honest. And you've got the whole situation where he ends up getting sort of taken in by the Tuscan Sand People, the Tuscan Raiders, the Sand People on Tatooine. And again, it has to be on Tatooine. He died at the end of Return of the Jedi, and they bring him back to life. And the Tuscan Raiders, the Sand People thing. It's like, it's like Dances with Wolves, it's Dances with Tuscans, or the Little Big Man, or whatever. It's one of those, A Man Called Horse. It's the guy getting taken in and looked after by, but it's all done so mediocrely and bad, and I don't know. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez, who I love as well, and he did his first big movie was Desperado. He did El Mariachi before that, and he was great when he did Desperado, and he's just gone downhill. And he's become more and more of a caricature, and his films are all sort of cartoony, and he does Spy Kids and things like that now. And this looks like that. It looks like a kid's movie. It's really weird. So Book of Boba Fett, sorry, not a fan. But I'm still watching it, of course, because I'm a Star Wars fan. So, I've also seen, this is the last thing I've seen recently, is The Tourist, which is a BBC One miniseries. Um, and I think it's 6 episodes. Starts off really promisingly. Jamie Dornan. It's a bit of a sort of cliched beginning of the guy losing his memory and having to try to piece together what's happening, but that keeps the tension going for the first 2 or 3 episodes. Um, and it's very good to start with. I mean, The Tourist was great. Couple of good episodes, and then but it then gets to about I think for the 5th episode, it starts going downhill, and by the 6th episode, I was like, why have they even bothered with the 6th episode? The 6th episode is terrible. So it's really strange, very patchy. I felt, and it got really good reviews. People liked it. It was, we kept with it, we stuck with it, and watched it to the end. But the 6th episode was just a total waste of time. So again, a bit of a missed opportunity, but I did enjoy most of it. I'd say probably about 60% of it. I feel like I'm being quite harsh, but every now and again you get these brilliant TV series that come out that just make you realize how brilliant television can be, and most things don't live up to that, and it's a pity. But I suppose you have to have lots of things that don't live up to the pinnacle. Actually, there's one other thing I made a note of here that we started. I haven't even finished watching it, but we started watching The Eternals on Disney Plus, and we're only about halfway through. And I fell asleep, to be honest. The Marvel movies just do my head in. I've got this theory that if you fall asleep in a Marvel movie, you can wake up in the last act, and it doesn't actually matter which film you've fallen asleep in because they're all the same. It's just CG and a battle that everybody's going to, it's like the world is at stake, or the universe is at stake, or they're going to destroy a city. And it's just loads and loads of CGI and explosions and aliens and whatever. And nothing really, the stakes are elevated to such a level that there are no stakes. It doesn't matter anymore. It's like you don't care about the individual characters because it's taken to the extreme. It's like it's like when we talk about numbers of people that died in wars, or the number of people killed by the pandemic. When you're talking about hundreds of thousands or millions of people, you cease to be connected. Really, I think with you can't picture that, so you sort of cease to be able to engage with it. And I think the Marvel movies, for me, suffer from that. They up the stakes to the point that everything is like the end of the world. And when you're talking at that level, it's just like, okay, I don't care. I can't, and I just can't follow all the action that's going on. I don't care who the baddies are and who the goodies are by the end of those films. And the Eternals seems to be more of the same. So, yeah, I don't know. So Jonathan's mentioned Rogue One. So interesting. So my thoughts on Rogue One. It's a good movie. It's well made. It's a good movie. But for me, Rogue One didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. It feels like a war movie made within the Star Wars franchise universe. Now, by that, I mean that Star Wars films had a specific feel to them in terms of the goodies and the baddies and the way it all it's not shades of grey. It's who the goodies are, and who the baddies are, and you've got Darth Vader on one side and Luke Skywalker on the other side, and it's very clear cut. Now I found Rogue One tries to sort of be more grown up and have these sort of grey areas, and it's sort of like what would the good guys do to achieve their aims, and lots of the goodies die and all that sort of stuff. And there's the grey area of would they commit assassinations and stuff like that, which is all great. But to me, it was just like a Second World War movie, and you just say that the Empire are the Nazis and the other guys are the rebels, are the resistance in France or something, and that's it. It felt like a Second World War movie, and then just transposed into the Star Wars universe. And for me, it didn't feel like a Star Wars film. So it lacked a certain something. And I admit that it's a well-made movie, but I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the bummer of an ending either. I just don't like the sort of the depressing end. And I also didn't like, that's another one they introduced at the very end. I'm trying to remember now. At the very end, you get the sort of the cameo of Darth Vader comes in and shows off loads and loads of powers that, like, in the next literally 5 seconds later is the beginning of A New Hope, episode 4. And he doesn't have any of those powers again, or doesn't use them at all in the original trilogy. And you think, what's that all about? I don't like those inconsistencies in the timeline that just annoy me. Anyway, so having said that I'm a massive Star Wars fan, I'm now slagged off like pretty much every Star Wars film that's been made in the or series that's been made in the last 10 years. But so anyway, my main reason for coming on was just to say hello and to remind anybody about the Night of Flames signed hardbacks. So if you want to get one, get over to matthewharvey.com. And yeah, it's funny. I'm trying to work out the timings for doing like a live thing and why sometimes you get more people than others. And I don't know. I don't know if the algorithms tell people that I'm on or not. But last time I think we had more people popped in. Last time I did a live thing, but it was earlier in the day. But anyway, so before I drop off and go my merry way, any more questions? Anything from anyone that's on? Speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say. Well, I tell you what I've got as well. Wait a minute, can I do this? So here, I'm going to try something here. I've got a little bit behind. So last time I did a live thing, people were asking about the Serpent Sword TV show and how close were we to getting it being made. And I said there's not really been a huge amount of movement. But I wanted to try this bit of software and see if I can share. I've got some behind the scenes footage from when we were doing the filming of the trailer, of the proof of concept trailer for the Serpent Sword. And this is Liam playing the part of Bearbrand and Simon Dwyer. So Liam Hatch and Simon Dwyer doing a bit of the fight scene. And so let's just see if let's see if I can share it, because this is new to me, this bit of software. So and take it.
Pathetic.
That's fun. That's good. So I hope you saw that. And yeah, that was funny there. I just forgot about that. It brings it all back. So that was actually filmed probably about this day. It was something the 25th of January or something. 2 years ago now, which is amazing. It was just before the pandemic struck. And it just brings it all back. It was absolutely freezing. It was filmed on the Brecon Beacons in South Wales. And yeah, it's only probably about a couple of 100 yards from the main road. But yeah, obviously just in the middle of the wilderness there. But yeah, it's great fun, but it was freezing cold. And the guys were great. They'd rehearsed, they'd done some practice beforehand, and Simon Dwyer had done the stunt coordination. But we spent a good part of that day just on that fight scene. So there's drone shots, and then there's that bit that was filmed. You could see there Connor filming it. And you could see the sound boom and stuff. So that's Samantha Vincent with the boom, and you might see someone else, but you might see Rhiannon, who's the director. But you could see Connor filming, and so there was filming that long shot there, and then later on filming different angles from front and back and close-ups, and as I said, the drone shots, and also it took ages. So it just makes you realize how much effort goes in to those things, and the fact that they were using blunt but real swords, and you could see the speed that they were going there. There was a couple of moments when heart was in my throat, thinking that if they make a mistake, things would not be good. But luckily nothing happened. So it was all good. So well, that's good. I'm glad I can share little video clips and stuff. So maybe next time I might prepare some more little clips and talk about things. And nice to see Chris there making nice comments. There you go. Very cool. Yeah, thank you very much. You can't see Chris, but my axe, or your axe, is on the is behind the mic. It's behind the microphone. But everybody's seen the axe, right? For those who haven't seen the axe, this is the axe that's on the cover of Wolf of Wessex. Yeah, so it's on the cover of Wolf of Wessex. Look, so Chris Bailey did all of this, did all that work on the blade and all the runes, etched all these runes and sigils and stuff, and bound the end of the axe, did the whole thing. Did a fantastic job, stained it all, did a great job. And yeah, and you can see that on the cover of the book, Wolf of Wessex. It's amazing. And it is beautiful work. And it now, I'm trying to work out which angle to move. And it's now sitting on my, or hanging on my shelf with all the books. Yes, Phil. I'll share that. Yeah, Phil says, thank God we no longer argue over Brexit. I don't have an axe. Well, let's not argue over Brexit, but there's nothing to argue about, is there, Phil? Because I was right. So, but yes, let's not argue. And if we do argue, and you come around here to have a proper argument about it, then I might win. So, there's lots of love for the axe. It's a thing of beauty. Hi from Australia. Hello. All right. So, Phil, off to get an axe. Okay. Please don't. You can, instead of getting an axe, why don't you just order a signed copy of A Night of Flames? That's now on my webpage. I haven't got. It's a question here. Have I got any swords? No, I haven't got any swords. I have got a seax, but actually, because the filming ended just literally like the weekend before lockdown, and they needed the sax, so Liam had it. I've never got it back. So this is like nearly 2 years ago. Filming finished, and I'm not actually. I'm not sure who's got it. So I need to get it back, because it's not actually a prop. It's a proper pattern welded thing. It cost me quite a lot of money. So at some point I'll get it back and hang it on the shelf as well. So yes, I know, Phil. I know that you have the others, which is why I was saying it. So quick question here from Joe. Will there be an audiobook for Night of Flames? Yes, indeed, there will be an audiobook. It's I'll get messaged by my wife because I'm out in my office, so she can't actually. I've escaped the house. But yes, there will be an audiobook. And I spoke to Barnaby Edwards just before Christmas, and he had only just been asked to do the audiobook. There was a bit of a mix-up with the publishers, and it's a bit annoying, really. But luckily, I'm on speaking terms with Barnaby Edwards, so I messaged him and said, "Do you know what's going on?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm really busy and I can't get it done." And anyway, he's juggled things around, and he's going to record A Night of Flames just at the end of February, I think. So I think it's going to come out. There's a bit of post-production needed afterwards. So I think it will come out probably mid to late March. Probably it will just be a week or two after the release date of the hardback. Ideally, we'd have got it out at the same time. And I had the option of getting another narrator to do it, because of Barnaby's time constraints and his being booked on something else. But I said I'd rather stick with the same narrator because I think people hate it when series change halfway through and the narrator changes. I know I do. And Barnaby's done a great job of all my books so far, so I'm happy to stick with him. Hi from Argentina. Hi, Mariana. How how you doing? So Mariana is a translator from Argentina who hope she doesn't mind me saying, but for her dissertation or her end of degree project or something, she did a translation into Spanish of Kin of Cain. So if you're in Spain or in South America or Spanish speaking South America or Central America watching this and you'd like to see that brought out, then contact my publishers and ask us to publish it in Spanish because the translation's done. And in Spanish, King of Cain, we came up with the title De la Casta de Caín. So there you go. That is the translation. Okay, so yeah, Joe likes Barnaby. Yes, I like Barnaby too. Great. Okay, got a comment here from Sigurd Allenson. Just got myself a Frankish axe. No doubt Bearbrand and Arcuna will use one on their next journey en route to Rome. Well, it's possible. So, yeah, who knows? Actually, that's a good point about the Frankish axes. Might have to add one into the story. I'm getting right to the end of the story in France at the moment. I don't think there's been a mention of the Frankish axe, so that's probably a bit of an oversight on my part. So if you end up reading that book, Forest of Foes, Sigurd, and there's a mention of the Frankish axe in there, I'll make a note. I'm gonna scribble it down so I don't forget. You'll know why. I'll have to work out a place where I can stick it in the story. There's enough fighting. There's enough people getting killed all over the place. Good evening, Mark. Jason's loving the ale. Yeah, it's nice. This is nice. This is for those who've joined a bit later. This is a McEwan's Champion. It's a Scottish ale, and 7.3%. So, cheers. So I don't really have a lot more to say. I'm nice strong one. Yeah. I'm kind of done with everything I meant to say. I've answered a few questions. All been good. Oh, look, Gareth here. Evening. I might be speaking to Gareth later on. He's a mate of mine. It's actually, Gareth is one of the select few who gets to read the books before they're finished, before they're published. And so far, he's always the first to finish. Out of the few people that get to read them. And so far, he's always liked them as well. So that's why we're still friends. The day that he stops liking them, that'll be it. He'll be off the Christmas list. Anyway, I'm already starting the beer, Gareth, so right. So I don't know. He says you say lucky man, Tracy. I'm not so sure he would agree. I think that's it. I think I'm done. So I will speak to you again soon at when something interesting happens at some juncture. But until then, good evening. Have a great weekend. And happy reading. Bye.